Welcome to English Grammar 1, Unit 12, For and Since. When and how long. For and since are used in sentences of present perfect continuous and present perfect simple to show the period covered by the action or to show the period where the effect of the action continues. And the period here covered by the action continues from past until now. Continues from past until now. We measure it until now, until this moment. We don't think of time after now. We don't think of the action after now. We use for and since to say how long something has been happening. Means the period covered by the action. We use for plus a period of time. For example, 2 hours, 6 weeks, 2 days, 3 days, 3 years, etc. I have been waiting for 2 hours. Here 2 hours, the whole period of time. The whole period of time covered by the action. The action started 2 hours back and continues until now. It might stop before moments, it might stop now, or it might stop after some moments. But we measure it now at the end of the action. So we say 2 hours. For 2 hours means began 2 hours back and we measure it now. The period covered by the action is 2 hours here. So we say for 2 hours. So for is followed by a period of time. We can say, for example, for 2 hours, for 20 minutes, for 5 days, for a long time, and here a long time to exaggerate the period of time, the period covered by the action. Since for 6 months, 6 months, complete period of time. For 50 years, complete period of time. For a week, complete period of time. For ages, to show that the period is very long. And for years, to show that the period is extended 4 years. Let's say 3, 5, 6, 7 years back until now. Sally has been working here for 6 months. 6 months is the period covered by the action, has been working. She started before 6 months until now. So we say for 6 months. We don't use since here because since indicates is followed by the beginning of the action, the date of the action, the date of the beginning of the action, the start of the period. But for is followed by the complete period of time. So we don't say here since 6 months. I haven't seen Tom for 3 days. 3 days, complete period of time. 3 days back until now. And here, since it is a complete period of time, we use for, we don't use since. We don't say since 3 days. On the other hand, if we think of since, we use since, and since is followed by the beginning of the action, the date of the beginning of the action, the starting date of a period of time. So we can say since 8 o'clock, for example, from 8 o'clock until now. Since Monday, from Monday until now, until today, until this day. Since 1999, started in 1999, from 1999 until now. So since is followed by the beginning of the period of action, but for is followed by the complete period of action. So when we say since 8 o'clock, we mean the action started at 8 o'clock and from 8 o'clock until now. So since can be followed by 8 o'clock, April, since the month of April until now. For example, now is the October, then we say since April, or if we replace it by 4, we say for 6 months. From April until October, the period is 6 months, so we say for 6 months. Since lunchtime, from lunchtime until now. Suppose we are in the evening, so we say since lunchtime, from lunchtime until now, until the evening. So lunchtime is the beginning of the action, so we use since. Since Monday, the beginning of the action started from Monday until now, until today. Imagine today is a Friday, so it becomes from Monday to Friday. So we say since Monday, or we say for 5 days. Since 1985, the action started in 1985. From 1985 until now, 35 years. So we can say it using for and say for 35 years. Since we arrived, suppose we arrived last Friday. From last Friday until now. So we arrived indicates the beginning of the action. So we use since. Since is followed by date as well. Since 12th of May. From 12th of May until now. 12th of May is the beginning of the action and extended until now, so we use since. Since the 12th of May. Since Christmas. From Christmas until now. So Christmas is the beginning of the action, so we say since. We use since. Since I got up in the morning. I got up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Means since 7 o'clock in the morning. So I got up is the beginning of the action. So we say since I got up. Sally has been working here since April. From April until now means for 6 months. If we want to use for, so we count the number of months from April until October. Then it becomes for 6 months. I haven't seen Tom since Monday. From Monday until now. It is possible to leave out for, but not usually in negative sentences. So you can leave out, you can erase, you can omit the preposition for if the sentence is positive, not if the sentence is negative. In the positive sentences, you can leave out for. You can write the period of time without writing for. So we say they have been married for 10 years, or we can say they have been married 10 years. We can drop for. It is acceptable. We can write it without for, and it is understood here. It is understood. For is understood here. So we say they have been married for 10 years. They haven't had a holiday for 10 years. In the negative sentences, you can't drop out for. You must use for. In the negative sentences, you must use for. You shouldn't drop, or you mustn't drop out for. For must be written in negative sentences. But in positive sentences, it is optional for you to use for, followed by the period of time, and optional for you to use the period of time without writing for. And here for becomes implied, understood. We don't use for plus all. If we speak about the period of time beginning with the word all, then we mustn't use for. We use all directly without for, and for is also understood here. For is implied. I have lived here for all my life. All my life indicates the complete period of time. We must use for, but here with all, when you write all, you don't need to write for. You don't need to write for. Compare when plus past simple and how long plus present perfect. Mainly when we ask questions about time, if we ask about past simple, we ask using the question word when. When we ask about present perfect or present perfect continuous, we use how long. So when you ask a question in the past simple, about the time in the past simple, you just use when. So we can say, when did it start raining? When did it start raining? So here we used the question word when, because we speak about a past simple action. It started raining an hour ago, and the answer here, the period is an hour ago. We see here the word ago. The word ago. Ago indicates past simple. Or we can say it started raining at 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock. If we change this question into a present perfect continuous, we say, how long has it been raining? How long has it been raining? So with how long, we use a present perfect simple or present perfect continuous. It has been raining. It has been raining for an hour. And here in the answer, to indicate the time, we use for. We don't use ago here, because the question is in the present perfect continuous and started with how long. So in the answer, we don't use ago. We use for an hour. Or we don't say at 1 o'clock. We say since 1 o'clock. The beginning is 1 o'clock, so we use since. So in the present perfect continuous, to answer, giving the period of time, we use for and since. But in the past simple, you use ago and other words or expressions of time, like at 1 o'clock. When did Joe and Carol first meet? The question here, when is followed by did. That means we ask about a past action. We ask about past simple, the time of the past simple. So we use when in the question, so it becomes, when did Joe and Carol first meet? The answer, a suggested answer here is, they first met. Okay, met here is past simple. A long time ago, you find here in the answer ago, that indicates past simple. They first met when they were at school. When they were at school, another action in the past. and it indicates that when they were at school. Now they are at the university. So the action is completed, is finished when they were at school. So it indicates past simple. Another example. How long have they known each other? So here we have how long, and we have they known. Have they known a present perfect simple. So to ask about a present perfect continuous or a present perfect simple, we use how long as a question word to ask about the time. And the answer comes like this. Suggested answer. They have known each other. We have here a present perfect. In the answer, they have known each other. We use here for a long time. We did not say a long time ago only. We say for a long time. For is used to show the present perfect. And they have known each other since they were at school. Here we use since. Since indicates a present perfect. That's why we use a present perfect in the sentence or in this statement. But in the past simple, we use ago or we use another past tense without since, like when they were at school. See, we say it's a long time or 2 years, etc. It's plus a period of time. It's plus a period of time. Or it has been. It plus is or has been. Plus a period of time. Plus since. A plus subject plus past simple. This is the form. It is written down. It is written down. It plus is or plus has been plus a period of time plus since plus subject plus past simple. If you notice here after since you find past simple. Since, we know that since is used for a present perfect. So since controls the present perfect that comes before it. The verb that comes before it, like is or has been here. But in the verb that comes after since, it always comes in the past simple in this form of structure. We use past simple after since. And since is not the key word that indicates the verb that comes after it. No. Since is used for verbs that come before it. So we say here, for example, it is 2 years since. Here it is 2 years since I last saw Joe. Here, what comes after since? So. The verb in the past. And here, this means I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. Very simply, you can use this structure. It is plus it plus is or has plus been plus period of time plus since plus subject plus past simple, or you can simply use the present perfect directly, like I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. Look at the first example. It is 2 years since I last saw Joe. And the second example is the same meaning. I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. This is the simple structure of a present perfect. I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. But the first form, what is the difference between the second form and the first form? The first form or the first structure emphasizes the time. So time is brought forward at the beginning of the sentence. The period of time is brought forward to emphasize it, to highlight it. That's why it is used in this way. Otherwise, it is very simple. You use the present perfect simple. I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. But here, the writer or the speaker wants to highlight the period of time, to concentrate on it, to focus on it, to shed the light on the period of time. So the writer emphasizes the period of time. That's why he or she brought the period of time forward at the beginning of the sentence or statement. It is ages since here. It plus is plus period of time ages plus since we went to cinema. Subject after since we plus went till he past simple to the cinema. This is the same form. And here we have at the beginning of the sentence it is plus period of time. Ages is period of time, and since comes after ages, and what comes after since? Past simple. And the meaning of this sentence can be, we haven't been to the cinema for ages. Very simple. A present perfect. Use a present perfect. We haven't been to the cinema for ages. But to highlight the time, to emphasize the time, the writer uses the other structure and brings the time forward at the beginning of the sentence to emphasize the period of time, ages. And it here, it is emphatic. It is used for emphasizing the time. You can ask how long is it since. In the question, you can ask this way. How long is it since you last saw Joe? You just bring is before it and put how long in the beginning. So it becomes how long is it since. If you want to ask yes or no question, you say, is it since you last saw Joe, so and so the period of time, is it 2 hours or 2 weeks since you last saw Joe? But to ask by how long, you put how long before is, so it becomes how long is it since you last saw Joe? And this means, when did you last see Joe? When did you last see Joe? The meaning of this question is, when did you last see Joe? How long is it since Mrs. Hill died? Again, the same, but this is in a question form, the same structure, but in this question form. Here, since is followed by the past simple, and it at the beginning, and is, and how long. So you just add how long and bring is before the pronoun it. So it becomes, how long is it since Mrs. Hill died? Means, and this question means, when did Mrs. Hill die? When did Mrs. Hill die? You can also say, it has been. You can replace is with has been. So it becomes, it has been since. It has been 2 hours. So it has been 2 hours, 2 years, period of time. Then comes since, then subject, then past. So the example becomes like this. It has been 2 years since I last saw Joe. So you can replace is by has been and complete the form, the same structure. So to conclude this part, we can say the form is like this. It plus is, or you can replace is by has been, plus a period of time, plus since, plus subject, plus past simple. And remember that what comes after since is past simple. If you think of since is used for present perfect, then it becomes for has been. Has been, what comes before since. That's all. Thank you.